Hey guys, here today we're at North Richmond Panthers Club and I'm here with the boys Ryan and ROG and we're just thinking about a few topics and we thought we'd bring up the topic of marriage and how that works and what that looks like even in the Christian area.
Especially looking at young people getting married young. I suppose, when we come into the culture of today, marriage is, I think the average age for marriage is 30. Ryan was, how old were you when you got married, Ryan?
21.
21. You were... Oh, you're not married.
Still
that's
single,
right.
mate.
So Ryan was 20. Now, what about your friends? Were many of your friends from school married at that time?
No, I think maybe in a year group, probably one couple maybe.
Okay.
Not many at all.
So in our culture, it'd be quite young for you to be married. I mean, did you feel it was too early in some ways?
Oh, I mean, I know I got heaps of, I guess, comments from people when I told them I was getting married, family, friends, and family, and just saying, oh, you're a bit young, that kind of thing. Are you sure? People saying you're an idiot at work, but I definitely felt, just from everyone's comments, I felt maybe it was a bit young, but then I thought, like, why? Just sort of like just challenging that thought. Why is it too young to get married? Like, how old do you have to be to get married? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
30. Let's take the average age, 30.
30, yeah.
How would you feel? Like, what would you think?
Mate, I wouldn't wait till I was 30.
Okay. So you're glad you've done it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Still the deal, mate.
Well, on camera, I can't say anything different.
Well, did you ever think maybe 1 or 2 more years? 2, 3 more years?
Yeah. I mean, but I think it was hard. I mean, obviously, I believe that it's not sexist for marriage, and even just the personal boundaries. I mean, me and Bonnie have been together now for 3-4 years, and as good as your intentions can be, and you have things set up in place, it is something that's really hard to deal with, sexual intimacy in when you're not married, and yeah, I just think it was even from that point of view, I think it would be really quite hard to wait another couple of years. That's for me anyway.
So would you say, I mean, here's kind of a crazy question, you got married for sex?
No, I think it's not just that. But people will probably think that, they'll say, why did you get married so young? Are you religious? And then I'm like, yeah. And okay, so it's sex. But it's not just sex. I think it's, I think God's brought us together, as part of God's plan. Was so that we could function together as two and just start young. I mean, even from a financial point of view, we've been benefited by putting our finances together at an early age, and just starting on a front foot in that kind of respect.
I would say it's got to be done well.
Yeah.
And whether young people know how to date well, could we say it, or get to know someone well to see if this is really the one. I think because they don't always do it well, the emotional strain and hurt and pain that comes with that, they don't see until it happens.
Yeah.
And learn from that. But whereas if they could maybe engage in some better books or mentoring, counselling or spiritual guidance from our perspective, then hopefully that would take away some of the strain, hurt, pain, damage that's going to happen in that. So to do it well, it takes a lot of effort too. I mean, Alex, you don't really, you're not kind of out there chasing girls yourself, really, are you?
Not really. No, I think when it comes to like the dating game or courting people, I think there's definitely a lack of patience out there.
That's a good word.
I think the delaying the gratification. I think we look around, we compare ourselves, and we see everyone else at our own age, maybe in high school, and they're dating. It's like we feel left out. I think there's that feeling of you're comparing yourself to other people, and I fell into that trap in high school. I felt like, oh man, everyone else has got a girlfriend, and so I just literally went out one day and said I want to get a girlfriend, and I did, but it wasn't really for the right reason. It wasn't for the right intention, and you just end up getting hurt. But I think in terms of like being pure before marriage or waiting or being patient, when I think about God saying be patient or waiting, it's not being idle and sitting back, but preparing yourself and developing your character, like you're saying, Rog, like meeting up with someone and going, okay, like where can I get better? And so I think that a lot of people want to rush into it. I definitely think everyone has a different timing, a different season for their relationship. It's not necessarily just 21 and necessarily when you're out of debt or when you've got a nice job, but I think God will bring along that person. So I think for me, and I think it's a word for anyone and everyone, that you've got to be patient.
Yeah, totally.
In a world where everything's instant and Snapchat this and that. But in saying that, I think there's so much beauty in marriage, and I think it is a shame to see so many people going along and just doing what they want, and that's fine, but you've got to be prepared for the consequences. So I just think, like, I want to be ready for that person that comes along.
Yep.
But I don't want to have to say, look, there was 20 people before you.
Yeah.
I think a culture that
for
says,
sure.
as guys, we say, like, 20 girlfriends, yeah, sick, you're awesome, bro. But I think when it's reality, it's like, actually 20, 40 girlfriends or however many is cool. Like, it's not necessarily that cool with God.
Yeah.
And so
I don't think it's going to be necessarily cool with your future wife.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just wanted to honour that person, because I know with the guys, it's the standard of, I just want her to be a virgin. I want her to have no boyfriends, and it's like, ideally, whatever that situation is. But I think that standard has to be on the guys as well. So yeah. Yeah,
but you're 22, Alex. Today,
22,
actually 22,
right.
and so that's cool. Now, in the church anyway, in God's agenda, there's a lot of young people that get married early, and you're still single, and it's awesome. Patience, I think, is a good word, and self-control is a good word. But do you feel like you need to rush it? You need to hurry up? I mean, does it feel like there's pressure there?
Well, I think externally, like, there can be. I don't think I've missed the boat. I don't think I'm like 60 and on my own.
Okay, yeah. Got that.
Look, there's expectations from parents, society, church, within people, but I think it's with anything, like, people ask me, have you got a girlfriend yet, or have you got anyone you're interested in yet? But it'd always be like, when are you going to get married next, or when are you going to have a kid? It's always like this expectation of when. I think, like, people are always going to want to talk about stuff, but I think individually, I think, you got to be content in where you're at, like being satisfied in who you are with God, and whether or not that person comes along, or whether or not you meet someone. I think that you could intentionally go to clubs or pubs and go on all sorts of apps and try and make it happen and force it, which people do it, and there's nothing wrong with that to a degree if you find, like, what you're looking for. But I think anything that's worth waiting for, you got to be patient. So I think, everyone else is getting married or everyone's in a relationship, cool, and I'm happy for them. I'm very, like, grateful that people
incorporate you.
Like this, like they're still accepting. Obviously, I don't mind. Like, I'm very blessed by that. That I'm not trying to, like, be a threat or something, but definitely blessed by that. But I think for me, like, using this time frame of singleness, however long it lasts for God's glory, and to build myself up so that if that woman of God comes along, I'm ready to do life with her. But I want to run the race with her. I don't want to have to convince her, hey, Jesus, this and that. So that's just the way I view it at the moment. Like, I think I've got a lot to go through. But in terms of, if anyone is, like, single out there and they're like, man, I just want to be with someone, 100% I know that
your
desire.
Details on the bottom
of
the YouTube.
Look, obviously everyone has that desire and everyone wants to be loved and feel like they're with someone. I think if it's worth
waiting for,
then wait for it. Like, if it's 2 years, 5 years, like, anything.
But do you think you could use? Is it too Christian lingo on content? Like, do you actually experience? Like, does God really give you that contentness? Because we could just throw the lingo. Yeah, I'm content. I'm patient.
It sounds nice.
But do you really feel God's actually gifted you with that place where the Spirit of God is saying, I am content? Do you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, many years ago, like, so to answer that question, I think I'm more settled than I used to be. Like, there'd be more, like, pent up energy to, like, oh, come on, man, come on, especially in high school. But I think the things that are going around you at the moment, whether it's like school or something that's going on in your life, everything always seems better. Like, it would be so much better if I was married now. I wish I'd have my own family. But I think that I'm not in that season. I think just recognizing and being self-aware of your season that you're in, then I can go, okay, God, like, that wasn't the person for me. Sweet, there's someone else.
Yep.
Even if you liked a girl, or you might have thought that person, this, that. I think when it comes to being content, it is a nice word, but it's being settled and, like, not letting that thought occupy your mind all the time.
Yep.
And it's easy to be triggered or reminded, like, wow, look, you're on your own, but I'm with God, and I think that there's power in being individual.
Yep.
and you don't, in a sense, you don't need no man, or you don't need no woman in this case, but I think you want to compliment that person that comes along.
Yep.
And so I'm pretty happy. Like, I'm pretty happy, like, with it. You know, like, I have a lot of free time, and I think that you guys are married, and I think that I wouldn't really realise the cost of what it is to be married just yet. You know, you can read a book, and I don't think that's really what it means to be married. You can read a marriage book, but I think until you actually experience it, I can't really comment on what it's going to be like. But I think that God's created it for amazing things, and you know, like, there's a lot of gifts in it. So if God's got that for me, I'm open to it. But if I'm called to be single for the rest of my life, I'm happy for that too. But probably there's a part of me that's like, nah, no way. But still, just got to be happy in every season.